The Confucius Institute at the University of the West Indies, Mona, is the first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean. It promotes the teaching of Chinese language and culture and operates within the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures in the Faculty of Humanities and Education.
At first, it started as a support to the university in order to develop to expand the language offerings. It was not yet a CI project. It was a support from one of the companies, a Chinese company, Complant. First, we got the offer of a language lab by the Chinese government, and then through Complant, that company, we got a lecture. And then Ambassador Chen Qinghua was appointed in Jamaica, and he came with the project of establishing a Confucius Institute in Jamaica. After several drafts, finally, the project was submitted in 2008 and finalized, approved, and officially accepted in 2009.
On February 12, 2009, the Confucius Institute was established upon the visit of then Vice President of China, Xi Jinping.
When the Confucius Institute was established, one of the first objectives, of course, was to introduce Jamaicans to the Chinese language, which is known to be one of the more difficult ones to master. And immediately, we were able to establish classes here on campus. From the very outset, the role of the Confucius Institute was to assist students across the campus in developing a functional capacity in this language. We also wanted to ensure that students would be able to understand a little bit about the culture. And so the celebration of the various festivals, as they are articulated by the Confucius Institute, has drawn students beyond those who have been studying the language to participate and to better understand the culture of China.
As an academic and cultural institution with links to the wider community, the University of the West Indies was ideally suited to host the Confucius Institute.
The Confucius Institute is certainly important to the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. We are a community which prides itself in diversity. The Confucius Institute brings a new dimension to the work of the campus. It certainly has enhanced the learning experience for our students.
Dr. Courtney Hogarth, who was awarded a doctoral degree in classical Chinese art from the Central Academy of Fine Arts, is the first Jamaican director of the Confucius Institute. He delivered the inaugural lecture titled From Jamaica to China, Language, Learning and the Future. In July 2010, the Confucius Institute at Mona was officially opened in partnership with Taiyuan University of Technology in China.
Chinese was being offered at the university before the Confucius Institute came along. Now, when the Confucius Institute came, we decided that the program that Modern Languages had would now be abandoned in favor of the teacher coming through the institute teaching in modern languages.
Now, as far as the program in Mandarin is concerned, the CI has helped to boost that program because it is through the CI that we've been able to expand the offerings in courses in Mandarin, in language and in culture.
In September 2010, a delegation of officials from Taiyuan University of Technology visited the Mona campus for the first advisor board meeting of the Confucius Institute. Professor Lu Shaogang from this university was appointed first Chinese director of the Confucius Institute in February 2011.
I'm very fortunate and lucky to be the first Chinese director to be sent over here. So that is UWI provides the physical, that is space and basic facilities infrastructure for the running of Confucius Institute, and the TUT mainly responsible for providing teaching instructors. My job is mainly coordination and liaison with China, Hanban, Confucius Institute headquarters, and especially TUT, Taiyuan University of Technology.
All CIs operate in partnership with a university somewhere in China with which the home university has been paired. So we were paired with the University of Technology in Taiwan, and we have found that collaboration to be very beneficial.
The Confucius Institute is governed by a board of governors that consists of TUT, UWI, and CI officials. The principal of TUT, Lu Ming.
太原理工大学和牙买加西印度群岛大学摩纳校区合办的孔子学院创始于2009年2月，至今已经整整5周年了。最令我们难忘的是，习近平主席为我们的孔子学院亲自授匾揭牌。作为太原理工大学的校长，我对此深感荣幸，衷心地祝贺西印群岛大学摩纳校区孔子学院越办越好，愿我们两校的友好合作关系发扬光大。
Zhang Wendong, Director of Shanxi Education Bureau and previous President of TUT.
2009年2月，习近平主席为太原理工大学和牙买加西印度群岛大学摩纳校区合办的孔子学院亲自授匾揭牌，至今已经整整5周年了。借此之际，我代表上一省教育厅，并以太原理工大学原校长的身份，对西印群岛大学摩纳校区孔子学院表示衷心的祝贺。愿我们的孔子学院越办越好，愿中亚两国人民的友谊长存。
Party Secretary Wu Junqing.
孔子学院是中国人民同世界各国人民友好联络的一条重要纽带。太原理工大学和牙买加西印度群岛大学莫纳校区合办的孔子学院就承载了这样一个使命。我们清楚地记得，2009年2月，习近平主席为我们的孔子学院亲自授匾揭牌，为我们这所孔子学院扬起了航帆。如今，我们的孔院已经走过了5个年头，我们衷心祝愿西印度群岛大学莫纳校区孔子学院发扬光大，愿我们两校的友谊地久天长。
Dean of the College of International Education Exchange, Xie Gang, Vice Dean, Zhao Anyuan, the Principal of UWI, Mona, Archibald MacDonald, Deputy Bursar, Herman McDaniel, Head of the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures, Paulette Ramsey, and Directors of the CI, Lu Shaogang and Courtney Hogarth. A local advisor board was also established with Ambassador Anthony Hill, Professor Anthony Chen, Mr. Dalton Yap, Mrs. Faye Pickersgill, Professor Swithin Wilmot, Dr. Paulette Ramsey, Mr. Herman McDaniel, Professor Lu Shaogang, Dr. Courtney Hogarth, and Professor Archibald MacDonald as chairman of the CI.
Today, there's a wide variety of courses and cultural activities out of the Confucius Institute. There's Tai Chi, there are language courses, there are all sorts of cultural visits from groups, and certainly we have been exposed to where our students have been exposed to various aspects of Chinese culture and practice and habits. One aspect of the Institute I'd like to emphasize in that regard, it's off-campus outreach. where in schools Mandarin classes are being held, and we are expanding. And in that regard, it also clearly ties into the larger campus policy of outreach, impacting your environment.
The Confucius Institute started out with 4 students in the evening class and has grown to surpass 200 registered Chinese language learners, including university students, high school students, and business and evening students from the community. Since June 2012, the CI at Mona has become an accredited institution for the Hanyu Shuiping Kaoshi, Chinese proficiency examinations, and about 50 students have sat HSK, YCT, and HSKK exams. At the University of the West Indies, Chinese language classes are geared towards students as well as individuals from the wider community and are for credit. Mandarin is also taught as a credit course at the Shortwood Teachers College. The work of the Confucius Institute continues to blossom with a new generation of learners. There are affiliated Confucius classrooms in 3 high schools in Kingston. At Campion College and Arden High School, Mandarin is provided as an extracurricular subject. There are plans afoot to introduce Mandarin to Jamaica College in September 2014.
The class in Arden is very interesting and they are very good. The students here, they are all very enthusiastic about Mandarin and they all have great potentials for learning Mandarin, and now they are performing very, very good. Every class, they make great progress.
我教的课程，今天的课很好，我喜欢学汉语。
In 5 years, I think the students in Arden, or my class, I think they can, they can do business in China, because now they are, after class, they will learn the Chinese character online by themselves. That's very impressive,
At the American International School of Kingston, Mandarin is taught as a second language in their regular teaching program by Miss Giselle Jones.
Now, we have Chinese teachers and volunteers who come to us through Hanban. Some of them come from Taiyuan University of Technology, with whom we partner. And the volunteers particularly are master's degree students who come also through Hanban.
Our goal is to try to meet those who want to learn Mandarin that is in terms of teaching, that is instructor, and also teaching material to facilitate their learning of Mandarin. And also the other side, that is the cultural functions. We would like to have more Jamaicans know Chinese culture.
Through scholarships offered by Hanban, the Chinese Language Council International and headquarters of the Confucius Institute, 3 sets of students over a 3-year period have been able to pursue more in-depth study of Mandarin in China. To date, approximately 18 students have taken up Hanban Mandarin scholarships in China, with the last 2 sets of students being sent to the Taiyuan University of Technology in Shanxi Province, Taiyuan City.
I would like to organize a summer camp for high school students to go to China to see what China is like really. And also we have educators, that is high school principals delegation to China, that is providing them the opportunity to learn, that is China, to learn China's culture, and so that is in order for them, and also try to that is to let them know in order for them to see if they would like to have a Chinese class, or Chinese course in their school.
The Confucius Institute complements the work of existing Chinese Jamaican institutions like the Jamaica-China Friendship Association, the Chinese Cultural Association of Jamaica, and the Chinese Benevolent Association.
In terms of the similarities of work between CI and CBA. Actually, we complement each other largely. First thing is to pass on the culture, the Chinese culture, to the next generation, and to share aspects of our culture with the wider community. By doing that, we will further expose our Chinese culture in the wider community. And with the development of all these major projects, the logistic hub and the North-South Highway will soon open in August, so I'm sure we're going to have many more projects like those coming on stream. And that is important so that our people, Jamaican people, can participate in some of these projects, not just standing by and just talk about it. Okay, we want our people to participate in this project.
The Confucius Institute fosters goodwill and cultural outreach, encouraging closer relationships between Jamaica and China.
When I assumed directorship of the Institute, I wrote a 5-year plan, which would decide what activities we would do during this time. And I thought it was necessary to write into that plan an anniversary lecture. And therefore, starting in 2011, since our anniversary falls in February, we had the first guest lecturer, who was Professor Kung out of Memphis University. He was followed in 2012 by Professor Zhao Yang from Beijing University. In 2013, we invited world-renowned Taiji master, calligrapher, performer, Al Chong Liang Huang. And this year, what we did in order to celebrate 5 years of existence was that we broadened the anniversary lecture into a culture week and invited a filmmaker who came with 2 of his works.
China and Jamaica enjoy a very close relationship, and we think that the cultural exchanges and also people to exchanges are very important components of bilateral relations between China and Jamaica. The Confucius Institute in Jamaica plays a very important role in enhancing the mutual understanding and deepening of friendship between Chinese people and the Jamaicans.
The success of any institution is dependent upon the quality and commitment of a dedicated team with creativity and drive to make a vision reality.
The growth and the dynamism of the Confucius Institute is directly related to the involvement of a number of important persons. I want to highlight the role of Courtney Hogarth, who is a young Jamaican, an artist, a philosopher, an author, who has come back to Jamaica to be the co-director. His role has been quite pivotal in attracting a number of Jamaicans to participate with us in this exercise. Professor Liu is our counterpart director from the sister institution in China, in Zhejiang province. And they could not have sent a better ambassador. He's patient, he is resourceful, he is dynamic, and a very important foil to Courtney in the development of this institution.
The future of the Confucius Institute is bright. It is a beacon of cultural understanding that promotes mutual respect, celebrates our diversity, and illuminates our universal connection.
I think that is Confucius Institute is a platform for the friendship between China and Jamaica, and also for the exchange programs for both TUT and UWI. So in the long term, I think that is through the institute, both can benefit.
As far as the future goes, my understanding is that on the recent visit of the Prime Minister to China a few months ago, various agreements were signed, and one of them include the expansion of this institute and assistance in expanding our teaching facilities and learning facilities. So some sort of building which will incorporate the institute, but also incorporate other facilities which the faculty can draw on. So from that point of view, down the road, we're going to benefit infrastructurally as well from the connection.
I think that the possibilities are endless. To begin with, I would like to see the promised building with more space because we have discovered over the years that there's so many things happening here, and places like the CBA and the Chinese community in Kingston really supports the various activities. And I would like to see that realized in the next 5 years.
It is my hope to have student exchanges between institutions in China and the University of the West Indies. And this would be a two-way exchange with Jamaican students going and visiting China, the institutions in China, and to have more Chinese students. We have a very small number of Chinese exchange students here now. And this certainly will enhance the educational experience of our students.
I think in the future there will be many more in Chinese, an increase in Chinese investment in Jamaica. And with the visa waiver policy in place, I think very soon we'll see an increased number of Chinese tourists visiting Jamaica. So that will raise demand of, I think people who can speak Chinese here, such as tourist guides, even shopping guides who can speak the language. So I think the Confucius Institute here is, among many other things, at least can serve as something like a Chinese language training center.
It's an evolution that has to take its time. And so I believe the Confucius Institute, with its infrastructure, that there's a new building to be established, and with a wider outreach of larger numbers of people coming and going, that it should be a constructive and really a very good relationship between China and Jamaica, and the Confucius Institute has an important role to play in that.
I think the Confucius Institute is an invaluable resource. I rely on it. My colleagues in other institutions rely on the Institute because of the sensitivity that it is able to impart about how we might conduct business with the government, as well as with business institutions in China.
In terms of Chinese language learning in Jamaica, what I would like to see is that some of these same people that I mentioned would come back and be affiliated with the Institute, but also teach Chinese to the community through the high schools, perhaps through the primary schools, so that the Confucius Institute and what it does can have some kind of longevity. If you are going to build anything at all that is meaningful, it takes time, it takes hard work, and it takes sacrifice.